Let's start over. U.S. official says Israel is fully prepared to carry out a major operation against Iran. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard claims the Los Angeles riots are allegedly being coordinated and funded privately. Governor Ron DeSantis says Floridians have the right to drive through protesters blocking the street if they believe their life is in danger. The CIA has just released 54 declassified documents linking the assassination of Senator Robert F. Kennedy. Hospitals across central Israel have been ordered to prepare for incoming casualties and emergency situations. A New York judge has declared a mistrial on the third-degree rape charge in Harvey Weinstein's retrial after the jury foreman refused to continue deliberating. President Trump says the DOJ has launched an investigation who's funding the riots in Los Angeles. The IRS has been tasked with investigating the sources of funding behind the riots in Los Angeles, California. Florida sheriff warns Democrat protesters that if they throw a rock, launch a firebomb, or point a gun at deputies, their families will be notified as to where they collect their remains. President Trump's administration has notified Israel that it will not be involved in any strike against Iran. Bernie Sanders calls for a Second Amendment uprising, vowing that he and Democrats will defeat Donald Trump, just like the colonists defeated King George after 1776. Israel has launched an attack on Iran with reports of massive back-to-back explosions rocking Tehran. Israel has reportedly assassinated Iran's chief of the armed forces, Mohammad Bagheri. A federal judge has just ordered President Trump to return control of the National Guard to California Governor Gavin Newsom. Don't think it's a good idea. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is being moved to a secure location. We'll find out about that. A security incident is unfolding at George Bush International Airport in Houston, Texas. Iran is reportedly on the verge of declaring war in Israel as it prepares to launch a retaliatory strike. President Trump says the United States will stand ready to defend both itself and Israel if Iran chooses to retaliate. Well, good morning. I'm thrilled to be with you again today. Long day yesterday. We went right out of finished up with you guys over to meet with Pastor Belcher, and we didn't get home till about 5 or 6 o'clock. And bingo, this program started being put together. And then our global news contributors, they swamped us last night. So that's why you got a heck of a report today. And we're going to take tomorrow off. So we're going to take the 14th off. So you guys enjoy your weekend as well. I'm thrilled to be with you this day as we dive into a topic that's on the minds of many precious metals enthusiasts, investors alike. Silver, go figure, huh? Sorry. As we witness a silver breakout, the question arises, are we experiencing a shortage of silver, or is it simply a surge in price driven by market dynamics? And more importantly, what truly constitutes a reliable store of value in today's tumultuous economic landscape? First, let's unpack what's been happening with silver right now. We've seen significant upward momentum in silver prices over the recent weeks and months. Is this a surge fueled by speculative trading, or are there underlying factors that suggest something more profound, like a true shortage of silver? Sure there is. When you try to swap 365 paper renditions of silver for one, it's a real silver. Yeah, there's going to be a shortage. On one hand, silver surge in price can certainly be attributed to factors like growing demand from industries such as solar panels, electric vehicles, and electronics. These sectors are expanding at a rapid pace, and as these industries rely on more and more on silver's unique properties, the need for physical silver continues to rise. But there's more to the story. We're not just talking about increased demand. We're seeing financial and retail investors turning to silver as a hedge against inflation, a store of wealth, and a safeguard against the uncertain fate of fiat currencies. This influx of investment demand can drive prices higher, especially when combined with fears over the stability of traditional financial systems. However, when we talk about a shortage, we need to define what that shortage actually means. Silver is still being mined, so there's no absolute scarcity of the metal. Just we're consuming a lot more of it than what we're bringing out of the ground, and what we're bringing out of the ground continues to go down. EROI is popping up, and the ability to find significant sources of silver relative to gold are drying up. That's because silver makes its way to the surface of the earth, and gold does not when it leaves the center of the earth in a magna form. But the fact is that silver production has been struggling to keep up with demand, especially as the cost of mining increases, because you got to keep going down further and further and further, right? In order to get less and less silver. You see it? Moreover, the supply chain has been challenged by factors such as geopolitical tensions and logistic bottlenecks, which exacerbate the situation. So we're seeing a shortage? In one sense, yes. The growing demand, particularly from technology and financial markets, is outpacing the available supply at current production rates, but you haven't seen anything yet. Wait till the demand for fungible money. Wait for the demand for real money returns, not only to the silver industry, but also to the gold. Not so much in the gold, but definitely the silver. There's not going to be much left around. That's what I've been telling you about. The growing demand, particularly from technology and financial markets, is outpacing available supply at current production rates. But in another sense, what we're really witnessing is a surge in price, not by a complete lack of silver, by growing demand coupled with supply constraints that are pushing the market to its limits. Now let's pivot to a deeper question. What is the reliable store of silver and with the store of value in an age where fiat currencies are being printed at will and economic instability looms quite large? Throughout history, silver has had a dual role. It served as in both a monetary metal and a commodity. But as we face modern reality of central banks increasing debt and money supply, more and more people are turning to precious metals, especially silver, because of its long-standing reputation as a store of value. Unlike fiat currencies, which can be printed and are printed in limited quantities by governments, silver and gold are finite resources. While the supply of silver is increasing with mining efforts, the growth in supply is slow compared to the growth in global demand. This makes silver a reliable hedge against inflation and devaluation of paper currencies. Silver has unique properties that make it incredibly versatile beyond its monetary function. It's used in industries ranging from electronics to green technologies. This industrial demand adds another layer of security for investors as it helps ensure silver's value will continue to be supported by its essential role in the global economy. But what sets silver apart from other assets as a store of value? First, it's more accessible than gold. While gold is traditionally seen as the ultimate store of value, its high price per ounce makes it less approachable for many everyday investors. Silver, on the other hand, allows more people to access the precious metals market and hedge against inflation in a more affordable way. Silver, secondly, is less susceptible to manipulation by central banks compared to paper money. While the price of silver can be influenced by market forces, it's fundamentally grounded in the physical supply and demand for the metal. This gives it an intrinsic value that doesn't depend on government policies or actions of central banks. As we look ahead, what does the future hold for silver as a store of value? There are signs that silver could continue to rise in value. The trend towards financial diversification and ongoing global push for sustainable energy solutions makes silver an attractive choice. And as the silver market becomes more tight-knit, its potential for a wealth-preserving asset becomes more apparent. As silver breaks out, we're witnessing a transformation in the way people perceive wealth preservation. The key takeaway here is that silver's value is not just tied to its price, but to the enduring demand for it as a commodity, as a hedge and a store of wealth. Whether or not we are in the midst of a storage shortage or simply experiencing a surge, the reality is that silver is more than simply just a precious metal. It's tangible, it's a reliable asset in an increasingly uncertain world. So to wrap things up, we must ask ourselves, what is the reliable store of value in today's economy? With the rise of silver, the answer seems clearer than ever. While there may be fluctuations in the price, silver has consistently demonstrated its role as a trusted, enduring store of value for thousands of years. In a world where fiat currencies can be manipulated, silver remains a physical asset you can hold in your hand, a timeless safeguard against inflation and uncertainty. As we move forward, it's crucial to recognize that silver isn't just a commodity. It's a foundation upon which you can build long-term security. Well, y'all haven't factored in the effect of the rednecks yet, have you? Neville Singham is the man funding these riots. It's not about illegal Hispanics or ICE raids. They are using them for propaganda purposes. They are real-life communists, and they have made their billion by destabilizing countries for their own political and financial interests. This guy, Neville Singham, is the guy that's funding the riots.
For the love of God, where are the damages for Americans? Where do I even begin? Where do I even start? We used to have a functioning public school system in this country. Then we had open borders. Now our schools are in chaos and disarray. We need hundreds of translators. Nobody's learning how to read or write. An entire generation of Americans, multiple generations, in fact, have been robbed of educational opportunities. Entire cities. Look at Los Angeles. Once a paradise of safety, security, and prosperity. Entire neighborhoods occupied and controlled by foreign gangs? Where do all the residents who've been displaced, who've been forced out of Los Angeles, where do they go to get their reparations? And then what about the victims of fentanyl poisoning brought in by Democrats' open border? Hundreds of thousands of moms and dads whose kids are dead and buried in the ground? Where do they go to get their reparations from the government? And then all the women who have been raped, who've been beaten, who've been murdered? All the dads who've been shot dead and aren't home? All the police officers who've been slain by illegal aliens in ambush attacks in the line of duty? Where do any of these people go? Where do any of their families go to get reparations? Or the 500,000 children that Joe Biden trafficked across the southern border and put into the hands of unvetted so-called sponsors? Do you know how many stories I could tell you of children that were trafficked across the border and raped because of the policies of Joe Biden? There aren't enough volumes that could fit into a library to calculate the carnage that has been inflicted by the Democrat Party's policy of open borders. We can spend the rest of our lives trying to document those harms. Where does our whole country go to get repaid for all of the wealth, all of the prosperity and security that has been stolen from us by decades of uncontrolled illegal mass migration? Because we all deserve reparations for what has been stolen from us. It is a tragedy that defies our ability to even describe it.
Preach, brother. I love it.
Immigration is not a right guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution to everyone anywhere in the world who thinks they want to come to the United States. Immigration is a privilege. It is a privilege granted by the people of the United States to those we choose to admit. Many American workers do not have adequate job prospects. We should make their task easier to find employment, not harder.